My real name is David Thaxton, and I run a small community. Well, a couple of them. One is Starbrush, and then the other is LifeLine, lspdfr LifeLine, which this show is going to be based off of, where we talk about how people start their businesses, how they grow, how they find staffing, and other stuff like that. Um, yeah. What about you? What do you do?
Okay, so my name is Thomas, as my Discord is. I started PA, I think, which stands for Premium Advertising, in August of 2023. And off of Discord and off of the internet, I have a pretty busy schedule of playing baseball, and I also play cello for my city's orchestra. I am 15, so I'm younger than what most people would think of somebody who started something like this and would go on a podcast. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it.
Alrighty, so yeah, I forgot to mention I'm only 17 while I'm doing this. So,
Yeah,
um,
perfect then.
what was the key point that, like, what sparked the idea of PA?
So I had a long history on Discord actually. I used to have a community server called Turtles Peak on my old account, which started during COVID, and I used to be just with friends and people in my school, and I eventually opened to the public. And I had that for about a year before it started dying down, and I kind of gave up on it. My old account on Discord got banned, and I'm not even sure why yet. So I started a new account. I was off of Discord for about 5 months maybe before I made my new account, and then I had a advertising server prior to this that never got open to the public, and I was the moderation manager in North American Advertising (NAA) before I resigned recently because I wanted to spend more time on PA. And I started PA because I saw the potential that advertising servers on Discord have. And from my community servers in the past, I've been able to want to reach out to smaller communities and help them grow in members and in popularity, and really just give them a chance to be able to do well on the Discord platform.
Okay, so yeah, one of the things that I've noticed about advertising servers is you get a lot, once it starts to grow, you get a lot of server owners just advertising. And I know this because I'm in a lot of advertising servers. A lot of server owners only advertise their server. They don't really look into other servers. So one of the
Yeah, and
one of the main
that
go ahead.
that could be an issue if you're going into um, advertising, especially your Discord. But what you have to do is make a really captivating ad that if somebody who is looking to join servers is good, who would want to join it. And that's you can't growing your Discord on advertising servers can't be your only way of getting members. You have to put your server on server lists like Discord, and PA recently got a paid membership with discords.com, which should be boosting our membership not count. And so pretty much what that does is when you are putting your server out there for the first time, it can be really hard to get that first increase in members. But what you have to do is find the right servers, find the right marketing ideas, and from there you have to be able to stick with it. And it's going to be slow at first, but eventually you'll be able to get the members that you're looking for.
Okay, so yeah. So one of the things that I'm gonna mention about growing a server is if you have an idea, stick to it.
Yeah,
Even if it doesn't work out for the first few months, eventually it will. You're gonna find that one person who sees it and decides to give you an opportunity, like me, to share your idea on it, and then whoever it is might promote it on their big server that they may have, and then it just works out in the end.
Yeah, especially if you're really passionate about the server that you're creating, or if it's from a YouTube channel and you want a community there, it's really great to find your target audience and grow from there. And as I said before, it's going to take a while, but you'll eventually get there as long as you persevere and get through.
Yeah. Um. So with this PA, premium advertising, was there any challenges that you had to face?
Yeah, so in the beginning, finding staff was really hard. We just recently had our entire staff team from all the departments have at least one member, which I know doesn't seem like a lot, but it really helps kind of boost the overall like smoothness and how smooth the server runs. So for a while, like we didn't have a partnership department. We had maybe one moderator. We didn't have a growth team. We didn't have a graphic designs department. And it was really just a really small community of me and some of my Discord friends who would help and start the server up. And what you have to do is, again, going back to advertising on Discord, you need this is where in a case where I would go to different advertising servers and looking for work channels, and that's where I would find things like hire me as a moderator, hire me as a partnership manager. And recently we have one growth manager, growth team person who is a big help. And she recently went on break because of exams. And in our staff handbook, it says that you can go on break for a maximum of 2 weeks with exceptions to be made. But she had to go on break for a month, and that could really put a really big dent in server growth, especially when your growth team doesn't have any activity. And we didn't want to let her go because then we wouldn't have a growth team at all and it'd be hard to grow back up from then. But I think literally 30 minutes ago, we just got our first growth team application in a really long time, which we're going to look over after this. So hopefully that'll start up again. And then in graphic design, we recently abolished the department just because we wouldn't have enough activity in the department. And with recent things like AI advancements, it's just been a lot easier to get what you want without having to manage a whole extra department. So
Yes.
that's one of the hard things that I faced. Um, and along with just getting members in the beginning, which the server we passed 100 members a little while ago. Um, and we've been really growing recently. I think we had like 60 new members in the past 3 days or something like that. So yeah.
Okay, so on the basis of people taking breaks. Not only do I run my own servers, I'm also administration in some popular YouTube channel Discord servers. One of which was the Criminal Justice, who is a GTA 5 content creator, but I have since stepped down. And one of the things that across all of my servers that I'm in is if you need to take a extended period of break, then you need to find a replacement that you will train and that you will assist. And when it's time for you to take your break, there's already a replacement available. And then when you come back, it's just a team of two people or more that you brought on that you continue to work with.
Yeah, so that's what we do for our management and ops. So how the kind of hierarchy works at PA is you have the base staff members. So like we have three departments. We have moderation, partnership, and growth. And within the moderation department, we have trial, base, and senior staff. And those all kind of work on the same level, except like obviously senior staff would go above a trial staff. And moderation is the only department that has that. And then above that, you have your head of department. So you'll have your head of moderation. And there's one person that does that. And then above that, you have your head of staff. And then above your head of staff, you have the managers, which is currently just one person who's been here since the beginning. But anyways, above anywhere like head of department and up, if you're going to resign or if you're going to go on an extended break that's over 2 weeks, you would need to find somebody who would replace your role. So, for example, um, we have our current head of moderation is currently in the process of being promoted to head of staff, and he needs to find somebody who would replace him. And because our moderation department is currently really small, he needs to hire at least one new moderator before he can get called up.
Okay. So, yeah, that's everything that is reasonable. Um, I have no questions as it all makes sense to me, and then in the end, it all works out, correct?
Yeah, and especially with our new partnership with Discords, excuse me. It's been working out pretty well so far,
Okay, so
especially like staff management and everything.
how do you see your server growing in the future? Are there anything that you're working on that will grow it down the line, or how do you see it?
So currently, we're working on something called Spotlight Day, which is a work in progress, and we just tested it out recently. And pretty much the idea is all of the channels in the server shut down, and all members cannot see any of the channels except for one channel at the top where it's open to all members until somebody sends an advertisement. And once somebody sends an advertisement, that channel shuts down too. So it's just that one advertisement at the top of the server for 24 hours, which of course is going to help your server grow if there's a server with almost 200 members and that's the only thing in the whole server. So hopefully if we can get more advertisements on that and kind of show people like how that works, that would give someone an insight of, and I don't know, think I just made up a word, but give somebody a reason to join the server. And so that's one of the big things that we've been doing. And during our test run, we actually had a problem where all of the channels were open for a short period of time to all members. So like any member could just talk in the announcements channel or the rules channel, which is obviously a problem. So we're gonna go back into that and look into it and see how that like shakes out and the bot and all of that.
Alrighty, so one of the things that I work on, as I mentioned before I started recording, was I was working on a bot. What what platform do you use for your bot? Out of curiosity.
So I use a platform called Bot Ghost where I actually don't code the bot and instead it kind of uses like they call it a command tree in which like you'll say, okay, this is the command. And then when you run the command, it's uh, send a message. And it's all really user friendly. And I know HTML and CSS, so I know how to code websites. And I've gotten into Discord bot coding before, but it never really clicked with me. So I spent I had base free Bakos for a while, and so that's a really easy way to start up a bot. But then once the server grew, like the free plan for Bakos is very limited. Um, so like you can only have 7 custom commands, and your data storage is really limited to the point where it was not reasonable anymore. And I'm a really big fan of neat servers, and having a huge list of like 50 bots in your server list is not appealing to me, especially if it counts towards your member count. So I like to have only one bot. And so I use that Bacos bot and it runs the whole server. And I have a lifetime premium plan, which I believe is $99, but I have it at lifetime, like it's not a reoccurring subscription or anything.
Yeah. So I actually use Bot Ghost for one of my bots, but the rest of it's custom coded. And I can say with Bot Ghost, if you're trying to do like a server spotlight for like having only one channel visible, the easiest way to do that is to have a role that is in every channel that everybody has except the spotlight channel, and then if you just disable the view channel permissions for that role, it'll kill all the channels for you.
Yeah, and we tried working with that, and the way our server permissions is set up, which I'll admit is pretty messy. It just didn't work out. So what I had was all the channel IDs and set all the membership roles at everybody to not view, which of course was really tedious and um, didn't work out. And I'm a former staff at the Discord at the Baccoast server, and I was a moderator at that server for a while. Um, but the whole support team there is really great. So I contacted support, and we're gonna try and figure out what the best way to do that for my server is.
Okay, cool. Um, was there anything you had to say about how this podcast, the idea of the podcast, or if you, I know you're in my Starburst server, if how any of my servers work?
So this is the first episode of this podcast, and I'm very thankful for you having me on the show. I like the idea of allowing smaller creators to kind of show how their server works and how anything that their project works. It's a really great way to grow. Um, I'm not into design at all. I joined your server because one of my management members is in it, and I was able to work out a partnership with you. Um, but the Starbrush server is a great server, especially for like people who are into the art stuff and who are looking for a specific thing because you guys have like paid things, right?
We have a internal server economy, so I don't believe in charging people for graphic designs. So what we did instead was we watermark every design, but if you're active in the server, every message you send gets you 100 stars, as we call them. And then we have basically the stars are the currency, and then we have products you could buy. So, for example, for 1,000 stars, you could get a promotion of any kind in our promotion channel. If you have 3,000, you can take the watermark off your design. And then if you have 20,000 or up, you can get different levels of our Starbrush Pro for advanced features.
Yeah, that's a great way to boost activity in any server. Like if you have a community server setting up XP role awards, which pretty much says every time a member sends a message, it gives them a certain amount of XP, and then once they have a certain amount of XP, they can have a certain amount of level, which can get them certain perks if you set it up with roles. So, for example, you could have like an advertisement channel in your community server that's locked unless you're really active. Um, and if you're having activity issues in your server, that's really a great way to get people to want to talk in your server and to be active in your server. The key is to get things that people want, though. Like, people probably aren't going to watch just a locked channel with that you can just talk in, which was something that I made a mistake in my community server because then it's just like a few people and it makes less sense instead of just being able to use uh, the normal general channel. But if you have an advertisement channel where people can promote their thing, or if you have like double entries and giveaways, which some of our paid plans have in premium advertising, that's a really great way to get people engaged in your server.
Yeah, so right now I'm going to DM you the picture of our economy.
Yeah.
Do you think that it's laid out well on how I laid it out?
Let me just take a look here. Um, yeah, I think the whole idea of uh, not paying for graphic design is really great because then more people are going to want to go to your server because it's free and really easy to get really nice graphic design for any of your projects. So we're currently in our Christmas phase at premium advertising. So we have a Christmas logo that was designed by AI, but AI is not perfect. And before we abolished our graphic design department, we had I think it was actually someone from your server designed our current just normal logo, which is really great. It's animated because on Discord you have certain like booster stats which get you certain uh, perks for your server. So we can have an animated icon, which Discord or AI can't really do as well as a human can. So that's really nice to have.
Yeah. Um. So besides the server wise, was there anything you had to say um about the podcast besides you being able to be on it?
I think it's a great idea for people to be able to promote their content and to be able to share it with the rest of Discord and the rest of the community on the internet. There are a lot of gems in the internet, especially on Discord, where you're able to really show who you are and show what you want to be. And I think this is a great idea for small creators and small project people to be able to promote their ideas and be able to share it with everybody. And I
Yeah.
really respect that idea.
Yep. So you are going to be the first episode. So if you have anything to say while I'm still recording to probably the very few possible viewers to start out, then feel free.
Yeah, so this whole idea to be able to promote business, and I'm really honored to be on it, especially to be the first episode. There are a lot of different things that you can do on Discord, whether you want to create your server and grow your project. I don't want to sound like an advertisement here, but advertisement servers are one of the best ways to do it. Um, and it's a great way, whether it's premium advertising, which is a smaller community, so more people, your ad sticks out more to a less amount of people, or bigger servers like uh, I don't know, Magically Advertising, which has I think 20,000 members, which is more members but less people viewing it. Uh, it's a lot. It's a great way to start, along with other things like like server lists, which I mentioned before. So if you want to start something, if you want to, even if you want to make some money on Discord, that I used to have a web design server where I would have really cheap ways for people to for me to make websites for people, which I don't have anymore because I started doing things with premium advertising and that had more success. But you kind of just have to figure out what people want, and you have to figure out what you want to do, and you just got to kind of stick with it.
Yeah. Um so I want you to stay, but I'm going to say to my recording thanks for watching our first show. If you would like to visit the Discord about this owner, it'll be in the description. And yeah, be back to check out more.